the kindness you've shown. Lord, help me, Jesus, I've wasted it. So help me, Jesus, I know what I am. Now that I know that I've needed you, so help me, Jesus, my soul in your hand. Try me, Lord, if you think there's a way. I can try to repay what I've taken from you. Maybe, Lord, I can show someone else what I've been through myself on my way back to you. Lord, help me, Jesus, I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus, I know what I am. Now that I know that I've needed you, so help me, Jesus, my soul's in your hands. Lord, help me, Jesus, I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus, I know what I am. Now I know that I've needed you, so help me, Jesus, my soul's in your hands. Jesus, my soul's in your hands.
Alright, I am on the double-decker bus in Pittsburgh, and I'm fixing to pan around so you can have a view of where I'm at. I'm at Penn Avenue and 10th Street. How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Doing fine.
August Wilson Center for African American Culture. And once again, there are 11 different theaters in the cultural district of Pittsburgh. Straight ahead of you, that terracotta building, that's the old Union train station. That's now called the Pennsylvania. There are condominiums in there. That rotunda out front was added to the National Register of Historic Places. And this is still where you get your Amtrak trains and get your Greyhound buses there to Pittsburgh Grant Street Transportation Center. We're going to be making a right headed down Grant Street, but if we made a left in this area, about a mile in that direction, you would end up in what's called Bloomfield, Pittsburgh's Little Italy. There's a lot of great restaurants up there. So now we're heading down Grant Street. This is the most prestigious business address in western Pennsylvania. On your left, the Federal Court Building. It used to be the main postal branch. On your right is the Federal Building. On your right again, the Federal Reserve Bank branch here in the city of Pittsburgh. And then right next to it is the Gulf Tower. This was home of the Gulf Oil Corporation and the tallest building in Pittsburgh for 40 years until on your left the U.S. Steel Tower was built. As I've mentioned, that's the tallest building between New York and Chicago. It's 64 stories over an acre per floor. making the top of the U.S. Steel Tower the highest and largest man-made space on Earth. And then, coming up on your right, you'll see the first Lutheran church. This was built in 1887. The oldest building in downtown Pittsburgh, by the way, dates to 1764 down on Point State Park. It's called the Block House. Straight ahead of you, the second tallest skyscraper in Pittsburgh, the BNY Mellon Center, 54 stories tall. There have been 3 renaissances in Pittsburgh's recent history. In the 1950s, the first renaissance was overseen by a much-beloved mayor by the name of David L. Lawrence, thus the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. And that's when Pittsburgh first began to clear the smoke from the sky, and that also coincided with the building of the first modern office towers in Pittsburgh down there at Gateway Center. And then in the 1980s, our second renaissance, with no fewer than 7 skyscrapers 40 stories or taller were built, including the BNY Mellon Center in front of you, Oxford Center, PPG, or the Glass Castle as you out-of-towners call it all the time, the EQT Tower. So your 3 rivers on the far side is the Allegheny River, the close side the Monongahela. They form at what's called a confluence, the Ohio River. So the Allegheny and the Monongahela forms the Ohio. The Ohio eventually spills into the Gulf of Mexico, well, eventually into Mississippi, and then into the Gulf of Mexico. Coming up on your left, the second remaining incline in Pittsburgh. The Duquesne Incline takes you up to the fancy restaurants on Mount Washington. According to USA Today, the nighttime view from Mount Washington is the most beautiful in the whole country, with lights shimmering from no fewer than 15 bridges and glimmering off of the 3 rivers. Let's say hi to the tugboat guy. Hey, tugboat guy! How you doing? To your right, the USS Redquin, a signature sandwich with French fries, coleslaw, and tomato on top.
We've got Brugger's in New Haven.
In the early 20th century, right up until about 1924, the south side of Pittsburgh was known as the glass-making capital of the United States. In fact, there were 74 glassmakers located here. Did you know Presidents James Madison and James Monroe both got the glassware for the White House administration from companies doing business on the south side of Pittsburgh? If you see where the road narrows up ahead, that's the old demarcation line, which would separate Birmingham from East Birmingham. That's the original 2,400 acres. On your left there, you got the Rex Theater, a live music venue. On your left again, areas of Blue Lou began the resurgence of the nightlife scene after the demise of the steel industry. So the south side of Pittsburgh is now known for a different reason than the glass making. The reason, you know, there are 9 Pittsburghs in the country, but ours is the only one with an H on the end. In 1891, the National Bureau of Geographic Names stipulated that all birds in the United States end with a G, like Harrisburg and Friesburg. And Pittsburgh lost its H for 20 years until 1911. Okay, and it's going to be a little... Bridge number 3, the West End Bridge, built between 1930 and 1932. In 1989, this bridge underwent a renovation. That renovation won it the Outstanding Civil Engineering Award in 1991. Okay, so now we're going to be heading into the North Shore. On your right is the Rivers Casino, just about 5 years old now. In there you'll find nearly 3,000 slot machines, table games, and an excellent buffet up on the third floor.